Tales of Asgard.
Forget everything you think you know about Norse mythology. That's right. Drop the Marvel Thor, forget about the horned helmets, and let's talk about the real stories, the ones that the Vikings themselves would have told by the fire. See, Norse mythology isn't just some ancient collection of fairy tales. It was a living belief system, shaping how people saw the world, their place in it, and even what happened after they died. But if we want to understand it, we have to go straight to the source, the old texts, the sagas, and what little archaeology can tell us. So let's get real about what Norse mythology actually is and what it isn't. Norse mythology is the belief system of the Norse people, who lived in what we now call Scandinavia, modern-day Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Iceland. Their gods weren't distant, perfect beings sitting on golden thrones. No, these gods were flawed, powerful, dangerous, wise, and sometimes outright terrifying. They fought, they loved, they betrayed, and they died. The stories that survive today come mainly from two sources: the Poetic Edda, a collection of old Norse poems written down in the 13th century but believed to be much older; the Prose Edda, a book written by an Icelandic historian, Snorri Sturluson, in the 1200s, which explains Norse myths, though sometimes with a Christian twist. But here's the kicker. We don't have a holy book for Norse mythology the way other religions do. These stories were passed down orally for centuries, evolving as they were told and retold. What we have now is just a small piece of what the Norse actually believed. A lot of people think Norse mythology is just a collection of cool stories, but for the Norse, it was much more than that. It was how they explained the world. Why does the sun rise and set? Because it's carried across the sky by a chariot pulled by magical horses. Why does lightning strike? Because Thor is smashing his hammer down in battle. What happens after death? Well, that depends on how you lived. This wasn't just entertainment. These myths shaped their world, how they saw nature, fate, honor, and even death. Unlike modern religions, Norse paganism wasn't about worshipping the gods in the way people today might think of prayer. Instead, it was about honoring them, respecting the forces of nature, and living in a way that aligned with fate, or wyrd. Now let's talk about the gods, because that's probably what you came here for. Odin, the one-eyed wanderer, god of wisdom, war, and poetry. He sacrificed himself to himself for knowledge. Yeah, we'll get to that. Thor, not a pretty boy with a magic hammer, more like a brawling, beer-drinking warrior who protected both gods and humans from the forces of chaos. Loki, not just a trickster. Loki is complicated, sometimes helpful, sometimes destructive. He's the ultimate wild card. Freya and Freyr, the gods of fertility, love, and magic. Freya, in particular, was a powerful seeress and warrior. Hel, the ruler of the underworld. Yes, her name is literally Hel. But her realm isn't just fire and brimstone. It's a cold, misty place where many dead end up, and that's just scratching the surface. If you stick around, we're going to dive deep into these stories, these gods, and how the real Norse pagans saw the world. We'll explore the myths, the rituals, and even how people practice Norse paganism today. Next time, we're going straight to the source, the books that preserve these myths. We'll break down the Poetic Edda and Prose Edda, what they are, and why they're our best and worst records of Norse mythology. So if you're ready to ditch the Hollywood version and explore the real deal, hit that subscribe button and let's journey back to the world of the Norse. See you in the next episode. Skål!